Oh, hey, good morning. Just checking on my stool here because earlier today, I should take my hat off. Earlier today, I was in the kitchen and I happened to look up at the vent. Yeah, that's the vent that you always see in my videos. And I saw something in there. Well, it turned out that it's probably just, insulation or something, that it sometime blew down to the level of the vent here. But I got up there with the vacuum cleaner and a fork trying to work it all out. And I guess the air came on while I was just out walking Grayson and blew some stuff out. What did it blow out? I don't know. You see these kind of things and you always think it looks like bugs, but I think it's just insulation. So, okay, you can see this on me. Last year, this wasn't there. I shared with you about how I'm really working on the issues that caused me to put on some extra weight. I was dealing with some illness and just didn't handle it well, and now I'm taking care of those issues. Yeah, it's working really well. I feel great. I mean, it's hasn't even been a week, but I have changed my eating habits. I'm working in my life book. You can probably see, I'm doing better here. I'm showing you this because I'm expecting a lot of this to be gone in a few weeks. No, I'm not exercising. I'm not exercising because I'm on a very reduced calorie intake, and I need to adjust to that before I add in more activity. Of course, I use NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is like, okay, here's a bottle of, I don't know, some kind of garden thing, and it's pretty heavy, and while I'm sitting here talking to you, I can be doing exercise just like this. And this helps to build muscle mass because it's got some weight to it. And it's also using up calories. It may not be a lot of calories, but as you are more active throughout the day, it adds up, right? Anyhow, so yes, I'm on a reduced calorie intake, but the food I'm eating, it's promoting a gentle fat burn so that I've got lots of energy because I am burning my own fat. And that's providing me with the extra calories I need that I'm not taking in with food and drink. I'm also drinking at least 64 ounces of water a day. And I'm working in my life book, which I've told you about. That's the thing that helps me to change my habits, to, identify and recognize and learn how to change them. Those habits that enabled me to put on this, well, they used to call this a spare tire. I don't need a spare tire, okay? Anyhow, so for a few weeks I wasn't getting on here that much because I was embarrassed about how I looked. But now, I'm showing you how I look because I'm expecting to look different in a few weeks because I'm using my program that I used 3 years ago when I lost almost 50 pounds and kept pretty much all of it off, for like 2.5 years. Until I started having problems with, some illness and with how to deal with myself during that time. So I know the program works, but the key to it, it's not a diet. It's not it's following a certain eating plan. Because, you can feel inspired. Oh, I just got to lose this weight. Yes, I'm going to go on a diet. you know, and after a while, your motivation, those feelings of, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, fizzle out. So then what keeps you going? Well, habit does. You know, the habit that, for example, yesterday I was over at my daughter's house helping her with the baby, and I could have eaten some of the food that the baby was eating. Baby eats real food. And, you know, some of it's stuff that I don't eat. Like she was eating a whole bunch of animal crackers. I love animal crackers. But I thought, you know what? They would taste good to me at the moment, but this moment's going to pass, and then I'm going to be wearing those animal crackers. If you ever watched Mary Tyler Moore, Rhoda Morgenstern, her best friend, once said something along the lines of, she had some chocolate, she said, I may as well apply them directly to my hips, because that's where it's all going to go when I eat them, you know. So I have support from my health coach, from a supportive, like-minded community, from webinars that I watch, and from my life book too, that helps me keep in mind, okay, wait a minute. What I want now, how important is that compared to what I want for my life, for my future, for later today, tomorrow, next week, next year? Back when I was having problems with feeling sick, you know, had upper respiratory issues, and now I've got medication to, you know, isn't it something when you get older, you can get conditions that you don't get when you're younger, and apparently there's this thing that makes your nose get stuffy and run more and stuff like that just as you get older. Well, anyways, I have this special spray to use for it. So anyhow, but I wasn't dealing well. I've shared this before, but basically I felt so lousy from being stuffed up and post-nasal drip, and my throat was irritated, and, you know, just switching between my nose being so stuffy I couldn't breathe through it and having to blow and blow and having it run. I just was miserable. I just wanted to feel better at the moment. So it made me feel better to eat certain foods because it's, you know, like I was having to swallow because of the post-nasal drip. So if I was swallowing food, I felt much better. And I swallowed a little bit too much food, like about 15 pounds worth. At least that's what stuck with me. So I had gotten away from my support system. I wasn't really thinking it through. You know, sometimes we have to go through something, and after we go through it, then we're prepared to deal with that sort of thing again. So I still was having some problems, but I realized, hey, wait a minute. These problems are going to come and go, and I can be steady through them. I feel miserable, you know, after having put on 15 pounds or so. It wasn't overnight, you know, over several months. And now, just having changed my eating habits, in less than a week, I'm less bloated, I'm feeling so much better, I'm out walking, and, you know, I can just move better because I think, you know, there's a lot less bloating and irritation. I remember when I was a teenager, Simon and Garfunkel were really, you know, popular singers, and they had a song called Old Friends, and there was a line in there, how terribly strange to be 70. 70. And I would hear that line, and I mean, 70 was so far away. It was like, going to another planet or something. I couldn't imagine being 70. 70 was like old and decrepit people walking with canes and hobbling along and, things like that. Well, I'm going to be 70 in October. This is what? This is May. Okay, in 5 months, I'm going to be 70. I wouldn't have imagined myself in jeans and a t-shirt approaching 70. When I'm like, okay, so even though I put on about 15 pounds, I'm still so much smaller than I've spent most of my life. And here, let me grab one picture. I'll show you this one because this one is just, see that? Yeah, that was me, like, I think in my early 50s. I look at that and I go, oh my goodness. Of course, I didn't perceive myself as being that big. And of course, I never imagined that I could be as small as I am now. I mean, yes, I put on 15 pounds, but I am still wearing size 8 jeans. The thing is that I was wearing size 6 before, and most of the clothes I have are size 6. I'd like to get back into those, and I felt much better at that weight and size. Yeah, it's only 15 pounds, but at such a small size, it makes a big difference. When I was up in the 180s, 90s, 200 and more, 15 pounds didn't make a whole lot of difference, did not make the difference of a size in clothing. But now, yeah, I had shared that I knew it was time to do something this time around when my underwear was getting tight. And it was a larger size. I was wearing like size 5 and 6 underwear, and I had to buy a size 7, and the 7 was getting tight. Anyhow, but like I said again, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And I am learning to deal with some habits that I never dealt with before, with the whole idea of, I want to feel better now. I handle really well, like if I have a craving, I think, well, I do not need to satisfy that craving. Let me get up and distract myself, do something else, go walk the dog, just do some different activity, and the craving goes away. But when I was feeling sick, I just didn't do well dealing with that. So I'm learning to kind of getting my thoughts straightened out about that. I'm practicing in little situations like the animal cracker thing, saying to myself, yeah, these would taste really good. I've got a gigantic container of them. I don't need to have not even one, because you know why? If I have one, it's awful hard to stop there for me. Anyhow, so I'm just kind of getting on here and chatting with you and sharing with you because I wanted you to know that it is possible to change. And yeah, you might slip back a little bit, but in a way, it's not really slipping. I wouldn't say it's slipping back. Technically, I slipped back in terms of my weight, but what happened is I didn't slip back with my habits. I had never dealt with a situation before of being sick so often and, just feeling worn down by all of that to where I just, like I said, I just wanted to feel better for the moment. I guess I I'm gathering up my strength, and I'm again plugging into my support system and realizing, that time is going to pass anyway. What I'm eating may make me feel better at the moment, but I'm not going to feel better when my size 7 panties are getting too tight. So anyhow, I just wanted to share that with you, and looking forward to having this go away. So I hope that you have a really good day, and I hope that this encourages some people who are listening who've been struggling with their weight or poor eating habits or poor habits in any way. It could be drinking, smoking, drugs, could be your finances, or maybe getting angry, or just saying things that you shouldn't say. You know how they say just because it flows through your mind doesn't mean it has to pour out of your mouth, right? So how do we work on these habits? Well, we start small and we work on them in little bits, and we practice every day. We repeat successful routines until they become second nature. Okay, well, I'll talk to you later.